Kia ora, I'm Erin J. Doyle. Welcome to my channel. Today is the second day of NaNoWriMo. I had a really bad headache this afternoon and ended up sleeping for an hour, so even though it's now 5 PM, I have to do some more work stuff. I feel like it's going to be relatively late in the evening before I get to do any writing stuff. But you know, as is life, I guess. On the upside, I did go and get chocolate, so at least I have that to get me through the late, presumably, work that will be done. It is once again 7 o'clock and I still haven't written anything, but I have been making actual tangible progress on a work thing that I hate and am really struggling to make progress on, so I was like, hooray! Tangible progress at least on that front. So I'm gonna stop work for the day and have some dinner, and then we can start on the writing. I am going to make sure this is like a nutritionally balanced dinner because there has already been excessive candy consumption, which I'm going to claim is why I've been successful on the work front. Apparently I'm fueled by sugar and I'm okay with that. Bear witness, nutrients. I have a slight dilemma, and it's sort of a characterization thing. So the fireworks are just gonna keep interrupting. When I go places and do things, I am, and I don't think this should surprise other writers, prone to some degree of flights of fancy. Like I see a statue and decide it's evil, or you know, see a person and make up stuff about them. Like I'm always storytelling in some capacity. My main character is not a writer, but she is an artist. Would she have the same looking at things and imagining nonsense tendency? Because I have written it in, but maybe it doesn't belong. I don't know. I don't know. Like, she's a scientist and she's an artist. Does she see a statue and imagine that it might come alive and steal children? Probably not. Or does she? I don't know. She should be prone to common sense, but I would argue that if you're saying that just because she's a scientist, then you should say the same of me, and clearly not. And if I take it out, and I don't have her doing that, then I have to take out the description of the scary statue. I don't know what to do. Oh my god. It's hard. I was about to put this in my mouth as if we're not in the middle of a pandemic. What the hell was that? I don't put shit in my mouth. Clearly I've been trying too hard or something. My brain is fried. Right, it is 8:51. So I think I've been writing for an hour. I forgot to pay attention to when I started, but I'm sure I mentioned it previously. I've edited 5 pages, which isn't huge, but I have written a little bit. Like I've definitely like added a whole paragraph and completely rewritten existing paragraphs just so they flow a bit more nicely. I think something I'm seeing is just a little bit of unnecessary description. I think I mentioned this yesterday as well, where I'm like, you know, she followed the road and then she took a side road and then she did this, and it's like none of that is necessary. We can just skip to like arriving at the next location. That would be fine. So I've got a few things like that. which I've had to tidy up, because it's not just a case of deleting them, it's like showing some kind of transition between where the character is. I mean, that's why I had those descriptions of the character's movement to begin with. So yeah, I think that's why it's taken quite a while to get those 5 pages done. So this chapter finishes, okay, I've got another 5 pages, I'm only halfway through this chapter. It is almost 9 o'clock, and I've decided that the smart thing to do, because I am a smart person, is chocolate and caffeine. Yes, stimulants at bedtime, brilliant. I do think that I'm kind of in need of a bit of a rest, not just the stimulants, so I'm going to catch up on what the rest of you are doing now that the Northern Hemisphere has had day 1 of Nano, and then I'll get back onto the last 5 pages. I kind of think I haven't got there yet, but I think there's going to be an emotional part in these next 5 pages. Like, the first 5 pages of this chapter is pretty much the character travelling between A and B and interacting with some people. Very briefly, I do wonder if I need to have like upped the investment in those people, but I don't know, it feels excessive. Like, I feel like the amount of interaction feels sufficient. At least in those 5 pages. What I could do, actually now I've thought of it, is to have those characters reappear later in the chapter, because like she's with them and then they part ways, but there's no reason why they couldn't join up again. Oh god, that would be so much rewriting though. That would be more than an evening to do that, because they're definitely not in the rest of the chapter. The rest of the chapter, if memory serves, is another bit which is a little bit close to real and may also be quite harrowing to write, or revisit or re-edit or whatever I'm doing. Okay, I don't even know what I'm doing. I do need to stop talking now because clearly the coherency has reduced. So I'm gonna go see what you guys are doing. I overestimated how much the chapter was left to go. It wasn't 5 pages, it was 2. So that only took like 10 minutes, and now I'm completely done. The chapter is 1,916 words long, so I feel like that's a good effort for an evening. I have identified a minor important event in the book, not in the book, in the chapter. This is a chapter that previously I have highlighted as not having very clear major or secondary events in it, so I've identified at least a secondary. There are plot relevant events, like there's definitely like progress being made, but nothing in terms of an arc progress or character development progress. Maybe. I think it's okay just because of how much plot stuff is happening. And I've also got something we learn about a minor character and something new we learn about the main character in this chapter, and I have unfortunately identified something that I need to go back and fix for consistency's sake, which is double checking. Yes, it's the question about something the main character does that I want to make sure is consistent. I've definitely got it happening many times in the last half of the book. I just need to go back and make sure it's also happening in the beginning of the book, because it's kind of like a major character trait and I don't want it to just suddenly appear halfway through the story for no reason, so I do have to make sure that kind of it's just like a little quirk of personality. I need to make sure that that's consistent. So I've made a note in my spreadsheet that I need to revisit that, and I think that's a good evening's work, so I'm gonna call it for the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, hit subscribe, leave comments, do the things if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.